Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back to Dumb and Broke. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Chelsea. And this is Karissa.
Hey, Karissa.
Hi.
Hey, Karissa. This will come as no surprise to no one, but I know Karissa from the gym.
This is literally becoming like the gym podcast.
This is all of my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is a little different because we work together. You're not necessarily, I mean, you are still a member at the gym, but we're also coworkers. So you see the other side of the
coin.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
I don't know.
I forget. Were you a like a gym member first and then got the job, or did you? I forget.
Yes, technically, yes.
Yeah.
I slid into the DMs of Metabolic Brooklyn. And are we allowed to say Metabolic?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
They follow us.
I wasn't sure.
That'll be a $50 sponsorship.
How about $100? Let's go. No, I slid into the DMs of Metabolic Brooklyn and was like, hi, I'm looking for a job as a trainer. And Bryan was like, come in. And I'm like, cool. I came in. And then basically I liked working out there and continued to work out there for about, I would say like 3 months. And then, got sent away to training camp, became a trainer, and
the rest is history. Here we are.
Sent away.
Got shipped.
Shipped off. Shipped off to come back.
Shipped off to boot camp, had to pass her tests, and then
Literally.
and then she's free.
And then was on the schedule. So yeah. So while I was a gym member, I mean, I love it. I love it so much.
But I think she was like on a training route pretty much the
Yeah.
entire time she was a member.
I feel like we haven't really talked about the gym much. Not that it's like the most interesting topic, but I do gotta say, because like, I was just telling you before we started recording that like I'm putting together a little group so we can all hang out on Sunday.
Mhm.
And I just like, I that's really the thing that's keeping me at that gym is like, if like it wasn't for like the community, I would have been long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great. Like I like the
Working
workout.
out is cool and all.
But like me,
controversial opinion.
I mean, we talk about it. Like we don't necessarily love working out, neither one of us. I mean, you ran a marathon and you hate running. So like nothing we do or say makes like complete sense. But I just gotta say, like, it's a really nice community.
The people there make the difference.
Totally.
100%.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I work at another gym full time and I work at our gym part time. And I would say the one thing that we have that is very special is our community. And I feel like that is something that gyms strive to have. And honestly, that's what holds you accountable always. Like when you're working out, it's like the people that you're surrounding yourself with. If you're like working hard and you're having a tough day, like those are the people you see. And you're like, and if you miss and I'm like, okay, it's a Monday at 5:30. Where's Bryan?
Yeah.
I'm like, where is he? He's always in my Monday 5:30 class. And then I'm like, oh, he's traveling. Okay. Well, I can't wait till he's back so we can kiki. Like it's that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I wouldn't be there on Monday at 5:30 is because I'm traveling. But yeah, like that's a good point. It's like I also sometimes I forget I'm going to like a workout class. Sometimes I'm like, I think I'm just like going to like catch up with my friends. I'm like, oh shit, we have to like put in some work. Like,
But it's very much a like work hard, play hard environment.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, like I've worked out with all of these people. I've coached all of these people, but I've also gotten absolutely ripped with a lot of these people.
Yes.
So
Yes, we have.
it's a fun mix.
Yeah.
It's a fun mix.
I love it.
We said that at the same time.
Oh,
Jinx, drink.
Cheers.
cheers.
Thanks for the rosé, Chelsea.
You're welcome. Bryan's pretending to like it because he just like doesn't like wine.
I don't like wine.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard like the last couple episodes.
I heard you guys talk about not liking alcohol.
Or like, I think we're all pretending that we like it.
You pretend that you like alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the fence in that one.
Yeah. Do you know how many people text me and be like, I'm offended?
Chris is like, I actually really like it.
So I feel like there are certain times that I'm craving a specific type of alcohol because I like how it tastes.
Yeah.
Mostly it's beer. That's
same. That's the only thing I like truly crave.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And alcohol wise, like I drink more vodka sodas than anything, but I never crave a vodka soda ever.
No.
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 Not even like Maybe like mezcal Negroni because I like the bitterness of all the flavors. But again, then beer because bitter. I don't know. There's something about I love going to a brewery and like getting flights and tasting
That's
them
fun.
all.
You were also a bartender right before this. So
I
I
sure
like
was.
forget that was the whole life you lived.
Me too.
For a long time too.
Me too, girl. A full almost 12 years of my life.
Do you miss it at all?
No.
Same.
That was such a quick, a quick no.
She's never been more sure of anything.
Yeah,
ever.
never, ever before.
You know,
That and being divorced, never sure of anything ever before in my life.
Wow, so much to relate on.
Chelsea, shut up. Back to bartending. You bartended?
No, I was a server for a
Yeah.
really long time.
I like.
So I did all the running around for you guys.
Yeah.
I was a bartender at Red Robin. I wasn't, you know.
I mean,
You sang those drinks.
Yeah. I mean, more milkshakes than anything, but it did make sense.
dang, you had to make milkshakes.
Yes, and I had to do all like the kids' drinks. Like if any of the servers rang up like apple juice or like milk.
Oh my God.
yeah.
That would be a rough thing to mix up.
Yeah.
I really hope you didn't mix it up. Oh my God, a mudslide or a Sunday? Yikes.
But I don't miss it at all. Like it to me, I think everyone should work in the service industry
Yeah.
for at least 1 year of their life, because I do think it's like the hardest job I've ever had. Like truly, because you're like I think multitasking is like undermining it. Like it is the ultimate multitask. You know what I mean? You're doing like 17 things at once.
And
Yep.
people aren't nice to you.
They're not nice.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
the worst. They're the absolute worst.
Yeah. And you're like,
Sorry for any of you that go out and tip your bartenders, please.
seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're working hard. And they might be mean to you, but like think about what they deal with every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
There's a reason.
They've had a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to get in trouble a lot, like from my managers because I have RBF. So like I would just be like this behind the bar.
You do have RBF.
I have RBF.
Yeah.
It's not, listen, I'm a very pleasant and friendly human.
Yeah.
I think it's just my face. I also think it's,
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it's helped you in many situations.
It has, but also I can see how it becomes standoffish. But I think because I have RBF and number one and number two, because I'm a Black woman, people immediately think I'm angry.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, first of all, my first response is you're being racist. My second response is I'm fine. I would like to be paid to smile. Give me more money and I will smile for you.
Make me happy.
Make me happy.
Like,
Or how about I have RBF because I asked you, hi, how are you? When you come up to the bar and you're like, can I get this? And I'm like, cool, I'm doing great too. Hope you had a great day. Like people just talk to you like you're a computer screen.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Like I was saying, like it probably has helped you in situations, but like I feel you too, because like I've been told that I have like a intimidating like aura sometimes, like, and I don't get it because I agree. I think I'm also a pleasant person and like a happy person, but I don't really get hit on like ever. Like no one comes up to me. Like, and I always question that. And then, you know, I think back to people saying like I'm intimidating, like maybe that's why. I don't know. Like,
Well, as someone on the far other end of the spectrum who just like has this just like won't go away on my face, and I'm pointing to my smile, and that's not like I've had to work on that a lot in New York. I think I'm way too approachable. Like I'm like, shut it down. Like don't smile at strangers on the street. Just like lock it in. So I've really been trying to get better.
you know, you're a smiley person, but like, and maybe it's because you're my friend and maybe because I love you, but like, I always like say like people who like smile too much, like don't do that. I don't trust them. Like people who like smile at everything and like laugh at everything. I'm like, that's like,
So are you saying that you don't trust me?
Oh no.
no, what I'm saying is like, I guess I don't see you in that light, and maybe it's because I know
Right.
you and I love you, but like, if I didn't know you, I probably would be skeptical.
But the thing is, like, I feel like I am still direct. It's just like when I say things and this is a pro and a con for me. When I say things with a smile on my face, like I can look at you dead in the eye and be like, "You're being a stupid cunt right now," and exactly, you're gonna be like, "Ha, so silly." But I could be dead ass serious, and like I think you just know
She
when I'm
probably
being
is
serious.
dead ass serious.
And then other people are just like, "Oh my God, Chelsea, so crazy.
I can't picture you doing that though.
I wouldn't.
I'm
ever.
obsessed.
I'm not like that direct.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever been that direct though in your life?
I have been to men that I think they're hot shit. So when that type comes around, and it's not like direct, like mean in that way, but you want to be snarky, I'll be snarky back. Like I can hit you with the blows that you just like don't feel like are blows
until after the fact. Until they go home like an hour later and they're like, "Oh my God, Chelsea, she actually." Wait. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dagger to the heart. Cool.
I love that. So another cool fun fact about Karissa is she is a witch.
I am.
But she's like the astrology guru. I feel like you're the person everyone goes to at the gym for like any type of astrology question. So we kind of wanted to have you give us a few tidbits about ourselves and like other things people might pick up on.
Yeah, I love that. I'll respond to your witch comment, but I am a witch. By that I mean like we're a woo-woo granola girly. Like I am very spiritually inclined, intuitively inclined. I'll say that. So
yeah.
I'm very spiritually led in that way. I like crystals. I like sage. I like tarot cards. And I love astrology. I feel like I got into it because I'm a big mental health proponent. And I feel like, or a proponent for mental health is what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like once I understood my birth chart, it kind of helped me realize like, oh, that's why I am that way. And oh, those are like the shadowy parts of myself. And oh, those are the really great parts of myself. And like, maybe I should gravitate more towards the lighter end of myself, but I also understand why I would go to the shadowy part of myself. So it more really just kind of helped me understand why I am the way I am, why I relate to people the way I do. And then kind of just like helped me feel like more excited about what the future held for myself. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
I love that because I feel like a lot of people think that, and maybe some people do, but like people who are super into astrology, they let it like dictate their entire life. Where like, I like what you just said. Like, it's like, it like helps you understand your life and like how you process and all that stuff. And so I really love that. And like Chelsea and I talk about astrology all the time. But like, we're not experts, but we know what we know. I feel like maybe a little bit
and
more
we like to know it.
Yeah.
But I'm so interested that I like will look things up and want to learn more.
Yeah.
But I love
that.
I love that you say it.
That speaks to your chart, though. That completely speaks.
Okay,
to
great. Okay, great. Can't wait.
I feel like there's. Yeah, I feel like understanding astrology in a way to be a better human, in a way to live in your highest light, in a way to live in your highest purpose is the whole point of it. I feel like if you're using it in other ways that are like to be mean or to like
we're not compatible.
Like throw out compatibility and like stereotypical comments. Like the thing is, at the end of the day, if you're really studying astrology, every single person has every single sign in their chart somewhere, and it speaks to a certain part of your chart. And if you have a certain issue with a certain sign, maybe you want to look to that part of your chart to be like, what's up with me in that part of my chart that I'm feeling this way about that person. So that's kind of how I see it. Anyway, I feel like
this is about to be about like us. You like prepared that, but like, what's your big three?
My big three?
Yeah.
I am a Taurus sun, a Cancer rising, and an Aquarius moon.
Aquarius moon. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Fixed.
I love Aquariuses. I tend to. I don't know why. Maybe you can tell me why I like Aquariuses. And I mean, she's an Aquarius.
Yeah. Fixed, and then some water cardinal energy. No fire anywhere though.
Oh, me either.
Yeah, but I've been told that I gravitate towards fire. You gravitate towards the like energy that you don't have.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
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 Cool. I have so many fire friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
it makes sense that you guys are friends because, like, you're an Aquarius sun,
Mhm.
and you have a lot of placements in Aquarius, or you have a lot of placements in Capricorn.
Yeah.
But Bryan is a Leo sun, so like Aquarians and Leos are the opposite on the chart wheel. So like you're direct opposition. So a lot of times you're going to gravitate towards what you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting too because for Bryan or for Chelsea, in your past life, you were probably
This is my shit.
which is your south node. So your south node in your chart is really like past life experiences or things you already know is Leo. So like you already have this feeling that's comfortable for you of being like around Leo people, having Leo energy. You're probably like an entertainer in your past life.
I legit feel like, and I think we've said this, I legit feel like I was famous in a past life. And
Well,
that's
you're an
sometimes
entertainer
why
in
like,
your present life, too.
sometimes,
Yeah,
so yeah,
sure.
but sometimes like, I feel like too much attention. I'm like,
Mhm.
again? Stop. I'm going to go home.
Yeah. And I feel like what's really cool about that energy is like, you know it. So you're gravitating towards people who are like that very easily. It's like, all right, well, this is familiar to me. It feels like home to me. So I want to be around Leo energy because I understand how that is. And I've been that person before.
Mm-hmm.
So like going in the opposite direction, which would be like where you are, your north node, like what your destiny line is, like what your purpose would be in life would be to like still hold on to that energy, but be almost like being that performer energy, but in a way to like advocate for people who aren't you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, giving other people the like opportunity to shine because you're like, I already know what that feels like. So that feeling of like, I mean, I guess I don't want the attention, but like maybe give it to somebody else.
That actually feels very aligned.
I agree.
Like, I feel like I do, not to like toot my own horn, but I do feel like I like to give other people I like
You're
to
a good
lift people
cheerleader.
up. I
You're a
like
good
to lift
cheerleader.
people up.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like, seems kind of self-righteous to say because that also makes me feel really good. Yeah.
I
So
love that.
tracks.
Cool. Yeah, I think, and then Bryan, you mentioned earlier that like people, I like listen to this stuff all the time and I'm like, listen to people talk. I love listening to people talk and I'm just like, what about them am I learning?
Then you would love the Dumb and Broke podcast.
I do love listening to podcasts. Yes, we'll mark it there. Dumb and Broke. Yeah, you were mentioning like you give off the energy, like people look at you and they like feel that you're like intimidating. Is that what you said? Or like,
Yeah, there's like a part of me that feels that way.
yeah. Like, or people have said to you in the past,
Yes.
like you're unapproachable or
Yeah,
like,
I guess I don't necessarily feel that way, but it's been said to me multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's always comes as a shock to me, but like I don't not believe them. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think what's interesting about that is your ascendant, so your rising sign for my friends out there, which is representative of how other people see you. So not necessarily who you are, but how you are perceived from other people is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is very much like the astute father figure. It's very much
Daddy, if you will.
It's daddy energy. But it's also very kind of mysterious in that way because you might appear to have your shit together, to like know what's going on. And people are like, whoa, that's like a lot for me.
Wow. And I always say I don't feel like I identify with my rising sign. And I was just literally just saying like I don't identify with like how people perceive me.
And necessarily you might not because it's how other people are
Right.
looking at you. So like that's the thing that's really cool about your big three. Bryan, you want to tell yours?
Yeah, I'm a Leo sun, rising Capricorn, and my moon's in Cancer.
Yeah. So your big three work really well together because it's just basically kind of like the brand of who you are, if you want to think about it that way, like your brand, your personal brand.
I love that.
Your sun sign is the essence of who you are. Like your Leo is very essential to who you are. You shine bright. You're a very radiant, regal human, which could be that other like you've got a lot of
Brian's brain is
you've got a lot of strength. You got very performer energy. You know what I mean? You like to entertain. But that's in the like light of it all.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And the shadow side of it all, it can be a little bit too much me. It can be a little bit like when a kitty like Leo think lion, kitties are like I don't like you know what I mean? Like I don't
like eventually like cat's gonna
cat's gonna scratch or it's like too much.
Yeah.
Like leave me alone, like that kind of energy. Or it can be like you're not giving me enough, so you're needy and you want more. Right.
Fair.
I'm telling you both sides.
No,
it's all shadow and light. I know all mine too. Okay.
You know, I'm sitting here and I'm just like referencing when she said you're a Leo and a performer. I instantly thought of karaoke and I'm like, oh yeah, karaoke.
It's my favorite thing to do.
But then for me, that makes perfect sense why I'm like not super into karaoke.
But you like going and you like watching your
but it's like I don't want the attention. I want other people to have the attention, but I like want to be there to enjoy it because I do feel like people a lot of times when I say that I'm not super like comfortable with karaoke, they're like, that's interesting. That's surprising.
It's definitely your Aquarius sun that's like kind of holding you back from that. I think like
holding me back from being
I think like I mean Aquarians are very independent. They're kind of like the aloof person in the room. They're a little bit different. So they can tend to also choose to be a lone wolf. So they can choose to like I'm not trying to read you. I'm just telling you.
We have a hard time getting her out.
You can just kind of like sit back a little bit. And then when you're there in it, you're a part of it and you're happy to be a part of it. But it's also kind of like, but I don't necessarily need to be the one, like you're still a little detached from that energy. Yeah. I understand because it's my moon sign, so I get it a lot. So your rising sign is going to be how people perceive you. So I like to think of it like it's when you walk in a room or you walk the pencil factory, for example. Chelsea walks in.
That'll be another $100.
Factory, $200. Like it's how people see you when you walk. The spotlight's on you, how people see you when you walk in the room. Or another great way to think of it is like your Instagram filter. So it's like how others are perceiving you to be. So if your rising sign is Capricorn, people are perceiving you as daddy energy, Brian. I don't know. Like,
I believe it.
They are seeing you as someone who is stable, secure, that holds their ground, that is like kind of a fortress, like it's like almost in nature, it's like tree energy, like it's like the ground, like not the root, but like the trunk that you would hold on to if you needed to, you know what I mean? The stability of it all, and I feel like that's intimidating to people because people are like, wow, I don't have my shit together, that dude looks like he does. You know what I mean?
I vividly remember my first impression of you, and I think that tracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that I was like scared of you in any way, but it was like I don't think that necessarily would scare everyone, but maybe some people would be like, you know. So.
But I think also then to Chelsea's point, being like when people see me and they see me smiling and they see me like laughing, I mean, you're a Gemini rising.
Yeah.
Gemini is known as the trickster god. It's also known as the duality of things. It's known as like being super intelligent and communicative and quick-witted and clever and charismatic. You know what I mean? So like that makes
everyone loves Chelsea.
People love
Everyone
Chelsea.
loves Chelsea.
I love Chelsea.
Yeah.
Stop, guys.
I mean, not to guess yet. Not to guess yet, but I mean, I feel like that is 100% true. Like that's how people recognize you. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's always the shadow too, right?
Uh-huh.
There's like, well, which is interesting about you because you're not a gossiper, but Geminis can tend to be gossipy. They can really just like shoot the shit in not the best way. So it's good that you're kind of living in that higher elevation of Gemini and not in the lower elevation of Gemini. Keep that up. They can have know-it-all energy sometimes, so they can kind of be like, I know better than you.
I don't feel like
I do feel like I have that in a workspace. Like if I have a boss, which is why I do kind of technically have bosses at this point, but I do work for myself a lot. And I think that's why is because I struggle with authority when I don't feel like that authority has anything to teach me.
Yeah.
And I witnessed that.
If I don't think, like if I feel like I am smarter than you, don't even start to tell me what to do. Respectfully, I will say it nicely, but like I will leave a job because I don't respect the person that's with me. So
Which
anyways, that tracks.
Yeah, I'd say that's not like completely know-it-all energy. That's more just being like, look, I know my shit, and like I deserve to be treated like I know my shit. And that's 100% fair. But yeah, I feel like there's that weird duality, right? Also, Geminis can kind of be a little secretive because they have two sides. They're known for having two sides. So like it can like that two-faced energy, which I don't think you are, but it might just be, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's like two sides in terms of like what you present to people and what is actually when you're at home.
I feel like there's such a common misconception with Geminis.
Oh my God, 100%.
The two-faced thing, and it's like I like the words that you're using, like duality, like because I think that's important. Like
100%. Oh my God.
But of course, there's negative connotations for every single sign, but like I feel like Geminis get it the hardest. I think they get it the hardest.
They get it a lot. I would say Cancers get it a lot. I would say
Leos do too.
I mean, I don't really hear it as much with Leos, but Scorpios get it a lot.
Yeah.
I think Geminis are also just like generally kind of loud and outspoken. So
you are.
That's where
you are.
Yeah, that's where
you are loud.
We're kind of the loudest ones. One of the loudest ones in the room. So like, of course, we're gonna get.
Which speaks to your rising 100%. Yeah. You're loud. You're boisterous.
Moon. Yeah,
and your moon. Yeah. So. Speaking of moon, we go into your moon sign. So your moon sign is your emotional world. Explaining that further, it's like, think about like what your inner child would need. So I like to think of it when in the 3 T's, when you're tired, when you're thirsty, and when you're, or I guess the 2 T's, that when you're tired, when you're thirsty, when you're hangry. Like it's how your emotions are going to respond as if they were little. So like, but because they're little, we have to understand how to develop them into adult like feelings, right? And speaking with adult words and like things like that. So a lot of times our moon sign can kind of be like the one, like for me, that was a very hard one for me to understand because I was like, that like being detached in life doesn't really make sense to me, or like being kind of, because I'm an Aquarius moon, being like independent. I guess I'm kind of like that just in my sun sign, but there were certain things about my moon sign that I was like, I don't understand how this has to do with my emotional world. But when I thought about it in terms of like little Karissa, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. Like as an Aquarius moon, I was not really like always played with all the other kids, or I wanted to do like play with weirder things. Like I wanted to play with puzzles, and kids were like, let's play Barbies. What's wrong with you? And I was like, I like putting pieces together. Like, I don't know. Like, or I wanted to play like weird board games, and I still love to play board games. Like that brings out the inner child in me so hard, where other people would be like, let's dance and play dress up. And I'm like, I like that, but I also really like to do this. So I feel like, your moon sign is truly like what's going on deep to your inner child. It's also like where you're gonna like heal yourself if you have, that speaks to like mental health, right? But where you're gonna heal yourself. So the thing that's really cool about you, Chelsea, is you already kind of know what that is because you're a Gemini rising. So like all of the things that you're feeling, like that you are and how people perceive you might also be where there was a wound when you were younger. Yeah. And it's a place where you're like, okay, like maybe I need to not be as loud. Maybe I need to hold my tongue. Maybe I need to not express my opinion. But like your moon sign is here to tell you, no, that's like what you are supposed to do. So lean more into that versus running away from it.
So continue being that loud bitch that you are.
We love you for it.
I couldn't stop if I wanted to.
I love it. And then Bryan, yours is in Cancer, which I love 'cause I'm a Cancer rising. I feel like Cancers get a really bad rep. But Cancers, if you know a Cancer, you understand. They're the mother energy. They are nurturing.
You were mom and dad all in one.
I know. That's a really cool place to be. It really is, because you got to find the in between. How do I be both parents? But I think it's that energy of like you're very giving to almost like a fault, giving in a place that's like unconditional love. You'll take anyone in, you'll wrap your arms around them, and you'll love on them warmly, and you're super protective. But on the shadow side of that, there's also that idea of like moms being overbearing, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, too protective, kind of passive aggressive.
Oh yeah.
I'm passive aggressive too. It's fine. I like work on it really hard every day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm very aware, but it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I know I need to work on it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's the point. But I feel like, that's your emotional world. That's like who you like, your inner child. Yeah. But it's also like, I would say, if you're feeling like I am not getting what I want here, I'm not like just being very clear about your emotions and not going in that crab shell, just kind of being like, all right, I'm not gonna go in this crab shell and then like bite you with a claw and like a passive aggressive comment. I'm gonna be really like, I'm gonna stand firm in my Capricornness and be like, no, this is how I feel.
I feel like you do a good job of that.
Good.
I try, but I think people don't like necessarily expect it from me because I have like the boldness of a Leo and the like I have my shit together like a Capricorn. So like I feel like sometimes people don't expect or don't understand that I'm actually a really emotional being as well. Like they think I'm so strong that like I can kind of get through anything, and I really can. But like, I have that softness, and I think I want that to be acknowledged more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, lean into it.
Yeah.
Lean into it.
So one of the things you said about him, this is like a conversation that we've had several times, really about him like being open and letting everyone in. We talk about it all the time because I think we did a controversial opinion one time, or maybe we just talked about like friendship breakups. And I was saying like I have never really been through like a big friend breakup. And Bryan's like, wow, I've been through so many.
Once a year.
But the thing is like Bryan is so quick to let everyone in, and he will give them their all until they prove otherwise.
Yeah.
And for me, you're not coming in until you've proved it at all.
That's
like
so
I'm
true.
so much more detached. So like, yeah, I haven't had friendship breakups because they went through the ringer to get in in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's like such a difference in our personalities. And like that makes so much sense.
Yeah. I think that also kind of speaks to your Aqua sun as well. Like you're cautious about like, you're always friendly because you're Gemini, moon, and rising, but you're cautious when it comes to like the essence of someone getting to know exactly who you are. Because it's like, well, are you going to be around? Are you really going to be here for the long haul? Maybe it's not worth my time like to dive into all of that. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Where I think with Bryan, it's like, I mean, his emotional world is just to be a caring, like loving human. You know what I mean?
That tracks so much.
And it's like he'll do that, almost to a fault where he might need to add more of that Capricorn.
That's probably why you don't understand too why people think you're intimidating. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. What do you mean? Like I'm literally friends with everyone.
Yeah.
So like, what do you mean?
Yeah. And when people get to know you, they understand that, and then they like, after they see you and they talk to you for 5 minutes, they're like, oh, he's a Leo, 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
and then I find that people are like
gravitated
really
to you.
They're really interested.
Yeah.
They really want to be my friend. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the sun. People gravitate towards the sun. They want to be warmed by the sun. It's like amazing that you also have Cancer in your big three, because it's like they both are like kind of divine. Well, I would say divine masculine energy is Leo, because it's like very grounded and rooted and bright and shining. And then divine feminine energy is known as Cancer, because it's like watery and like washes over you. So they both kind of like work together in that way. Yeah. We love it.
What else you got for us?
Yeah. So Chelsea was talking about like that closed offness when you're like meeting people in like relationships and like friendships. So I'll talk a little bit about like your interpersonal planets, which are your Mars, Venus, and Mercury. I won't talk too much about it because I want you guys to kind of understand like the houses too. Like the houses are very specific, and that's where people get lost in astrology.
That's literally where I get lost. I understand like the basics about each sign and
yeah,
like, but as soon as you say the house, a house, you might as well be speaking Mandarin.
Yeah, cool. All right. So first, for Mars, Mercury, and Venus, they're known as the love and communication planets. They are really ones to know specifically if you are going to look into astrology a little more and like how you get along with other people. So your planet of communication is Mercury. So it's like how you speak with other people, how you communicate with other people. Venus is how you love and how you want to be loved. And then Mars is how you fuck. It's how you fight and how you fuck. That's literally what it is.
I forgot what my Mars is. So I'm like,
wait.
I know the other two, but I didn't know the
So what's really cool about Chelsea is she has all three in Capricorn.
Daddy.
So we just talked about Capricorn.
So Chelsea
energy.
wants to fuck me, is what you're
Well, what I mean is that all of that energy of Capricorn is in how she communicates, how she loves and wants to be loved, and how she fights and how she fucks. So it comes from this place of daddy energy. It comes from this place of stability, which she wants to be loved in a secure, stable way. But she's also going to be cautious about how she puts forth that energy. She's also going to communicate in a very direct and firm, father-like way. So I think that's really interesting. Now, if we talk about the houses, I'm just going to use a quick interpretation of your Venus in Capricorn, which is in the 8th house. When we talk about houses in astrology, you have to think as if like, okay, Chelsea bought a house, and she bought a mansion with 12 houses. Or 12 rooms. She bought a house and there's 12 rooms in them. And every single room has a theme in her house. Cool? So the first room when you walk into the foyer is your house of self. And that is exactly who you are. That is your ascendant. That is how people perceive you as soon as they walk into your house. Cool?
Yeah.
Second house. So it's the house of self. It's who you are. And any planets that live there are also going to take on that energy. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So like say actually
I think mine is my rising and my moon.
Yeah, so perfect. That's a perfect example. So her rising, how people perceive her, is also her first room that people walk into because it's right there. Yeah. It's also where her sun sign is. So it's also just the minute you walk into Chelsea's house, you're going to get the essence of Chelsea right away because that's the first room you walk into and it's her house of self. Mm-hmm. When you move along the wheel and move in through the houses, it's a different room along those houses. That's like the best way to kind of understand. So when I say your Venus is in Capricorn in the I think it's the 8th house. So your sign of love is in the room that has to do with how you circulate things. And by circulate, I mean money, sex, resources, and like kind of in a way that's like a little bit twisted. Because it's not necessarily the house of I have, which is room 2. Room 2 is the house of your money, your possessions, your worthiness. This is more like how you're going to spend that money, how you're going to circulate your worthiness, how you're going to spend your resources, which could be your sex.
You're going to spread your legs too.
So being in Capricorn, that daddy energy to me, I'm like, all right, Chelsea has Venus and Cap in the 8th. She's probably like the dominant one in the bedroom. She also might be extremely tight with her money. She knows exactly where her money's going and flowing to.
She's not tight elsewhere.
She also might, in all fairness, because like dad, if we think of daddy energy in like typical like patriarchal society, like dads are the breadwinner. There might be some sort of like association with like, and this might be shadowy, like it's kind of where like your shadow self kind of comes in, but like where you might need to work on worthiness in terms of how you make money and like love, and who in your relationship in the future makes the money and has the money and who's spending it. And like,
I will say, like, as you're speaking, I do struggle a lot with like the masculine and the feminine.
We talk about this
like
all
I
the
talk
time.
about that. Well, and I talk about it in therapy all the time. Like I feel like I want to be more in my feminine, but I always find myself being the more dominant, but that's what I hate. I don't like it. Yeah.
So it's something that you're seeing in yourself, and you're like, gotta have to discover it more. Might need to go like a little bit deeper in that, which is cool. I mean, it's just cool to know that, because then you're like, all right, well, how do I work on this?
Yeah, it's power to know that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's power. So
yeah,
I think that's cool.
And then speaking of 8th house, Bryan, in your 8th house is where your Mars is, which is where you fight and how you fuck, and also just like how you're going to have aggression, how you're going to act, like where you're going to like move with purpose. And that's in Libra, which is very interesting because like Libras are a very indecisive energy. While they're like the scales and they kind of help us like weigh our options, it can kind of go to that energy of like being indecisive. It can also go into the place of like not wanting to act because they're indecisive. They're kind of like at a standstill. But if you go more on the light side of it, it's like, all right, I want to know what's fair and what's just, and I'm going to like speak up and act for the right thing. And the fact that your Mars is there in the 8th house, I don't know, it kind of tells me like that there might be ways in which you're able to problem solve that other people can't see. Like you're able to weigh the options when it comes to like if there's an issue. And you're like, all right, before we act on it, like, let's work out the different options before we just like move forward. Like you might take a little bit more time instead of like firing forward with your actions.
Sometimes. And yeah, we were kind of talking about earlier how like we're good at like seeing both sides and like, you know, so we won't make like a quick decision because we're talking about two sides at the same time.
Even like when we're talking about controversial opinions, like we'll play into like a hard opinion, but like we can always see both ends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point of them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, they're topical. We can, you know, see both sides.
Yeah.
And I do relate to what you were saying about like when it comes to like the sexual sense, like not like making a decision because I mean, or because like I mean, it's no secret to anyone, but I don't have a lot of sexual partners. And I think, you know, I think about a lot of things and it always makes me lean towards like, just don't do it, you know, even if it's like, I want to do it, I'll still not do it because so much is going on in my brain.
Yeah. I think that might also lend to you have your Venus is in Cancer.
Yes.
So like, I mean, we talked about Cancer energy. It's very much like, well, I need to know that my emotional self is safe here before I act that way, which is when the Libra comes in. It's like, okay, you're right. Like, how do we weigh these options? Do I or don't I here? Because, you know, I love them or I don't love them. Like it could be the same thing with like not just sex, but just how you act. Right.
Yeah.
Like, do I love them. So do I do this thing or I don't love them? Do I still do this thing because I'm nurturing human? That kind of a thing.
Totally. I love that. I mean, yeah, literally, I feel like this is how I feel when I leave like a hard therapy session. Like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Astrology is like therapy. I told you.
Truly.
Honestly, thank you. Like,
you're welcome.
I genuinely think you did such a good job of explaining it, like to someone who doesn't know astrology at all. And Chelsea and I, like, we do know a little bit. Like, a lot of the things that you were saying, I kind of knew, but like, it was still like nice taking it in. So like,
and it's always like in a different. I mean, you say it in a different way that's like, oh, wait, that does make sense.
Yeah, I like to put it in those words. It was how I learned, so it made it easier for me to understand. I think also, too, like, I learned by understanding the light and shadow of every sign, which helped me a lot, and it also helps me like have more compassion towards other people. But I also learned by understanding what pop stars have certain signs, because I can be like, well, it's an archetype of that versus that.
Yeah.
So that kind of like helps me too.
I think we had made a joke one time at the gym that I was like, I'm not like a huge reader of like biographies, but I think I would be if I knew that person's big three going into the book.
Oh my God, probably. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so do you offer readings like to people? Like
Yeah. Not as regularly as I did before, but yeah, if you want one, if you're interested in one, just DM me.
What's your handle?
My handle is at Karissa N. Harris
We'll
on Instagram.
we'll put it in the bio. We'll tag you.
Yeah, just DM me if you're interested. I can throw you my rates and we can chat. There's different levels in which you want to do a reading. If you want a simple one, to if you want a super full in-depth one.
Yeah, because this is just like we just scratched the surface.
Scratched.
Like
yeah.
you said, there's 12 houses, right?
12
And
houses.
you really only spoke about one of them for both of us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And okay,
And multiple planets. So
Yeah. So should we pivot?
let's pivot.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's get controversial.
Do you love the controversial opinion?
I kind of do. And for the most part, I feel like I agree with you guys a lot. I had a hard time like finding one myself because I was like, I wonder if they've already done this. But I don't want to start though. If you have yours, you guys.
I don't really. And we don't always agree on everything. So like that.
We honestly a lot of times don't.
I don't necessarily have like controversial opinions. There's like a couple like things that I've kind of highlighted over the week that I was just like kind of wanted to talk about, and maybe they're controversial. This one doesn't really apply to you guys because I think it works for you guys, but I have a picture of this person who has like their job title and like the brands that they work for in their Instagram bio for fitness trainers. Totally makes sense. And also when you're
did that.
What?
I was like, I did that.
No,
Yeah.
that totally makes sense, especially when you're also like putting like fitness content on your profile.
Yeah.
This person like works in like marketing, and they put like the agency that they work for and the brands that they work for, but like their content is like their like wedding
Themselves.
pictures and like
Oh.
them drinking.
This is not LinkedIn.
And I like
Yeah.
I find it like cringy because, and I find it cringy because it's like that's in your biography. Like I always say this, like the for me, I work in PR, and like that is the least interesting thing about me. So like that's never gonna go in my bio. Like I have way more interesting things about me, I think. So like I don't know. I just feel like it's stupid when people do that. Do you guys have any feelings about that?
But I think we've all just like we've talked about this before. Some people just like create their identity on their job, and I just
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of sad when you don't really have anything else going on. I also think Instagram, and like more power to you for not being on at Chelsea right now, but like I think it's just like a place where people can like literally just jerk off and be like, hi, this is everything that I do. That is like what I want you to perceive of me.
well,
not
and I think that's why I
necessarily-
hated it because I never felt like anything that I put out was a good representation of me. I was just like I don't feel seen by any of this, and so like I don't want, especially when it came to dating, and we kind of talked about this last week. I don't want somebody looking at this and being like, oh, this is her, and that being their only idea without like talking to me.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, I hate that you said that because I loved your content, but like I get why you say that in a dating sense. It's almost like your profile that you've had before you close it should have just been like just for your friends, and maybe it should have been
Right.
private and just for your friends.
Yeah.
Because like
I
think your
maybe
friends
I'll
love
create
it.
a Finsta.
Yeah, I do that and like just
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fine. We like that. I want you back on Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll create a
I miss you.
Finsta. And then
Yeah,
I'll
we
just like
miss you.
bring some.
But also, like, I get it. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like, needing to take a break and, like,
Yeah.
not just from the how I'm representing myself, but the, like, death scrolling. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
Needing to take a break as well.
Yeah. No, I
sure.
get it.
All right. Do you have a controversial opinion for us?
Yeah. So I have one that only children are spoiled. Or there's, like, only children syndrome. Like, there's something about only children.
It's like hard for me to say because I'm so far from an only child, but I definitely feel like, so I went on a date last weekend and he definitely brought up that he was an only child, and there was a feeling where I was like, oh, like, but we kind of talked about it a little. Like you have to be spoiled. You're your parents' only thing. Like you're getting all of the attention, which is like unless your parents are just shitty. Like it is the definition of being spoiled. But at the same time, like I do envy only children in a way that's like my siblings are my go-tos for so many things. Like they're a built-in support system. But I also like don't feel the need to like go out and get that anywhere else. Whereas I feel like an only child is like well versed in like going out and making really close, tight knit friends because they have to. Because like who else are you gonna go to? Which not that I obviously have close, tight knit friends, but I think I just already had that built in initially, so I didn't feel pressure to get it.
That was such a Gemini response.
Wow.
The duality,
the duality of it all. Wow.
I do know a lot of like only children. And like I would say, yeah, in a sense they are spoiled. It's not necessarily like such a bad thing because I think in a perfect world, every child should be spoiled to some degree. You know, if that like makes you into like a brat or like, you know, ungrateful, and that's where we have an issue. Right. But I do think there is a sense of spoiledness for only children, and it's very apparent a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm just jealous, I think.
It's apparent.
Yeah.
It's apparent. You say, oh, that's interesting. I'm an only child. That's why I asked.
Damn, she got us. Yeah. But I would say, like, genuinely, I would not have expected that.
Most people say that.
Yeah.
Most people say that.
That was good. They're like, they fucking suck. They're stupid. They're ugly. And she's like, excuse me?
Well, here's the thing.
Well, my parents think otherwise.
No. Well, here's the thing. I will say what's really interesting about being an only child is like you have all of the attention, but it is a lot of attention to the point where it's like, oh my God. And like my relationship with my parents now is like tough because like it was just so much when I was a kid that the minute I could leave my house and like be on my own, it was like, thank God, like it's too much attention. Would I say I'm spoiled? I would say, sure. I think I definitely was spoiled by my parents. Do I act that way? No, I don't think so. I think you can take it to one degree or the other. You know what I mean? I definitely did feel a lot of that like outsourcing of trying to find friends. And there are things I envy about people with siblings because it's like, I wish I had that consistent thing that I don't have. So I have to rely on partners for that. I have to rely on friends for that. But I will also say like, I grew up with a bunch of cousins, so I feel like if anything, I have like younger sibling syndrome because they were all older than me and we all got shoved off at my grandparents' house. So like I spent time around them as a little kid. So I feel like I have more of that energy than like.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing that I've never thought about like your parents. Like sometimes it's too much attention. God. Like especially at this point in my life, like I'll get a text maybe once every couple of weeks and my mom's like, you alive? You good? And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, that's great. Yeah. That's amazing. Like my mom sends me books and she's like, why haven't we heard from you? And like, blah, blah, blah. And then guilts me all the time. Love you, Mom. But I'm also like, oh my God, like I am not 10 years old anymore. Like I don't have to like.
But then at the same time, you're like, you're all they got.
Literally.
Yeah.
But it must be nice to have parents that are alive.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Guys. Read the room.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
I'm not sorry.
You're not sorry that my parents are dead? Wow.
Just because
I'll be your mom. I'll be your mom. My little cancerizing heart will be your mom.
No, it is fine. Can you guys leave? No.
Oh my God, that was wrong. That was really wrong. I feel bad.
I'm totally good. I love doing that. Yeah. I love making people.
Well, and I know that. That's why I'm like, I'm not sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So we're all on the same page about her kind.
Yeah.
Wow,
her kind. That could have been really bad. Wow.
People are gonna clip that. Like You talked about racism.
I know.
And I said her. Fuck.
Brian's racist.
No, he's not.
He also, should we talk about the struggles of being a white man?
Oh boy, I'm sure I've heard it all.
I accidentally said that. Like, but
He was talking like being tan
but-
versus being pale,
but
and
being
he was
pale.
like,
Oh,
actually, like, don't have any like issues being white. And I'm like, well, you should.
you shouldn't. And you're also a man.
yeah.
Wait, that's
Like,
amazing.
fuck, yeah. This is not necessarily a controversial opinion, but something I've come across here and there is that I think people forget because I think a lot of us know that we can see what you like on Twitter or X, whatever you call it.
It's Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter. Sorry. It's just Twitter.
Yeah. I guess it's just my little reminder, like, check what you liked, guys, because some of you are liking some interesting things that you probably don't want people to know. And this kind of goes back to, we've talked about it before, like, remember on Instagram?
They used to have it on Instagram.
Yes.
Oh,
And
bring it back.
I have a 100%, and I am not sorry about it. I have no shame about it. Looked at certain people I was speaking to, looked to see what they were liking and who they were liking and who they were commenting on, and it would change my mind about, especially during dating. I would be like, oh, I see. Okay, got it. You're not responding to your text anymore. Yeah.
So me and my friends were talking about, I had two of my friends came from Colorado. It was my friend Cassie and her husband Brad. And we were talking like guys just like things so willy-nilly, whereas girls don't. Girls are like pretty particular about what they like. And we were talking to like, she was saying like her husband was there and he's like one of them that just like likes things. And we're like, but I think girls view it as like, I'm giving you something. But guys are like, oh, I like this, so I like it. Like, where it's like, but no, but like, and they don't understand when we're like, why did you give them that?
Yeah.
Like, why did you give them that validation? Or maybe they do understand, they're just playing dumb, to be honest.
Probably.
But it is like a very like guy girl thing. But it's like even like scenarios like Twitter, or like sometimes it's like this big breasted Instagram model that doesn't know who you are for anything. It's like, what are you expecting to gain from that?
Yeah.
I don't
They're
understand.
also bots. They're not even real. They're bots. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, there are a lot of like fake Instagrams.
But like girls don't do that. Girls don't.
We don't.
Yeah. The girls and the gays don't. Well,
no, the
not
gays
all the
do.
gays.
The gays do.
Oh, the gays do.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, on that note,
that was so fun.
it was so fun.
I'm glad.
I hope like people learned a lot. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Good.
And I like enjoyed it, but I always enjoy.
Anytime. I love talking about astrology. It's like one of my favorite things. My boyfriend kind of gets mad at me when I talk about it too much, but I love talking about it. It's like, I don't know, the information for me is so cool. And like, it changed a lot of my life and my emotional well-being. So I feel like that's why I love it, because I like want it to help other people in that way.
And I love hearing about myself. So
There you go. People love to hear about themselves.
well, check out Karissa. We'll drop her Instagram in the caption or wherever below. But
Like, comment, subscribe.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.